That's from Italy today, where there is a general strike taking place as their Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni refused to recognize the Palestinian state, whereas Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia recognize the Palestinian state. We can say that Donald Trump has created great instability across the world right now as his promises have gone unfulfilled. He promised that he would end the atrocities in Gaza in 24 hours. Yet again, Donald Trump is an utter liar. Donald Trump claimed that he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, and of course, a complete and utter liar. Donald Trump returning from Arizona, a disastrous trip back to Washington, D.C., where he spread anti-vax conspiracies, continued to talk about how he wants his Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute, quote, everybody, and just generally looked very sickly and weak. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But I want to put these headlines from this morning side by side for you. So, Financial Times reports that U.S. manufacturing and construction are experiencing recession-like conditions right now. Remember, Donald Trump promised a manufacturing boom. Well, according to all of the data, much of which Donald Trump wants to suppress, manufacturing and construction is suffering right now. The job market there is absolutely awful with the mass layoffs we've been seeing and we've been reporting about, and which Donald Trump is covering it up. But don't worry, folks, because Donald Trump's America First policy means that our manufacturing workers, construction workers, farmers, and Americans in general get screwed. But guess who benefits right now? The Trump regime is looking to bail out one of their favorite strong men, who's actually a weak, pathetic, vile piece of trash like Donald Trump. Argentina's leader, Javier Milei, who's run Argentina into the ground on Trump-like policies. Now our Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, says America First means bailing out Donald Trump's buddy in Argentina. Remember that guy, Milei? He held the chainsaw like Elon Musk did, that freaking maniac over there. Not doing too well. But, Donald Trump, when he thinks about what he views as success, it's inflation-laden, suffering, hungry Viktor Orban. It's Russia, whose economy is also in the trash. It's Javier Milei. Donald Trump looks up to Bukele. It's people like that. Not like actually other countries that have strong GDPs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says Argentina is a systemically important U.S. ally in Latin America, and the U.S. Treasury stands ready to do what is needed within its mandate to support Argentina. All options for stabilization are on the table. These options may include, but are not limited to, swap lines, direct currency purchases, and purchases of U.S. dollar-denominated government debt from Treasury, exchange stabilization funds. Opportunities for private investment remain expansive, and Argentina will be great again. Yeah, Argentina will be great again. These people are so pathetic in the Trump regime. I get it. Your authoritarian buddy, Javier Milei, asked for a bailout, so screw over the American workers, build your 90,000 square foot ballroom, and destroy the Rose Garden and build Club Rose Garden and hang out with the king in Windsor Palace. And while Americans are suffering right now. But while Donald Trump is bailing out Javier Milei, he is imposing Magnitsky Law sanctions against a Brazilian Supreme Court judge's wife. They've already sanctioned the Brazilian Supreme Court judge. Now they're going after the wife of the Brazilian Supreme Court judge because America is attacking Brazil. Why? Because Brazil successfully prosecuted its insurrectionist former president. And that pisses Donald Trump off, that Jair Bolsonaro, who's a Trumpy authoritarian who tried to overthrow the Brazilian election, actually got successfully prosecuted. The Supreme Court did the right thing in Brazil, unlike our awful, pitiful right-wing fascist Supreme Court in the United States, led by 6 right-wing extremist justices who gave Donald Trump absolute immunity. Not only did they not hold Donald Trump accountable, they gave him absolute immunity to engage in the abhorrent dictatorial behavior that stripped away the power of the judiciary and allowed Donald Trump to be the lawless fascist maniac that we see today. But that's what Donald Trump just did in Brazil. So he helped Argentina, but sanctioned the wife of the Brazilian Supreme Court judge. And meanwhile, our soybean farmers and farmers in general are getting their clocks cleaned here in the United States as Brazil has developed stronger relationships with China. China's not buying our soybeans. A lot of our produce is being replaced by Brazilian agriculture. We had a surplus with Brazil as well, but I guess Donald Trump liked Javier Milei holding up that chainsaw because our regime here in the United States is completely moronic. Let's give you some more data, some more details about Trump's disastrous landing back to Washington, D.C. Donald Trump bragging that there are no more boats in the water in the Caribbean by Venezuela because if you are fishing there, you may be killed by the United States government, who will claim that you are narco-terrorists. The United States government has killed at least 19 people off the coast of Venezuela in fishing boats, small 24 feet fishing boats. Donald Trump then posts the death videos on his private social media account on Truth Social, and then he brags about killing the people. He says they're narco-terrorists. We don't get any additional data. And then even former Vice President Vance jokes, if you're in a fishing boat, we may kill you. That's the United States regime right now. For you here, Donald Trump boasts about there are no boats in the water. Well done, Donald, using the United States military to ensure that there are no fishing boats in the Caribbean. Well done, Donald. Well done. Here, play this clip.
On Venezuela, you said that, let me quote your tweet here.
No boats in the water anymore.
Yes, well, you said...
Additional boats. You don't even find a fishing boat. You don't even find cruise liners anymore. There's nothing in the water near Venezuela. It's actually strange. You know what that means? That means there are no drugs coming in.
You said that the price they'll pay will be incalculable if they don't take people back. What does that mean?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out.
Mr. President,
That one,
Mr.
yeah.
President, Mr. President, on your
Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. It's easier than ever for someone to look up your address, phone number, or even your family members' names online, and that information being out there could have real consequences. With Delete Me, you can protect your personal privacy or the privacy of your business from doxing attacks before sensitive information can be exploited. Hey, as someone with an active online presence, privacy is very important to me. I've seen friends get harassed simply because their info is way too easy to find, and that's why I take this seriously. Delete Me removes your personal data from hundreds of data broker websites so you can take back some control. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Meidas and use promo code Meidas at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Meidas and enter code Meidas at checkout. That's MEIDAS. That's joindeleteme.com/Meidas. Code Meidas.
Then Donald Trump is asked about the announcement that he's making today, where he is going to provide awful science, just bad junk, debunked science, and claim that pregnant women should not be allowed to take Tylenol because the Trump regime hates women and they hate science. So it's a good way to marry the two. Just ignore the science. That if you want to know some of the reasons why there is perhaps a little bit of increase in autism, oftentimes it could be caused by men like in their 60s and 70s having babies. It's more on the man, but let's attack women for getting pain medication and spread conspiracies there. One of the reasons also, though, there's been a better testing methodology regarding learning disabilities and that then existed 50 years ago. So there's just more awareness kind of generally. But Donald Trump uses all these false stats. He's like 1 in 10 kids have autism. It's just not true. It's just completely false. And then Donald Trump wants to make a link between autism and Tylenol, which has been, again, debunked. And women should have pain medication for their but this is what the Trump regime does. Here, play this clip.
announcement tomorrow. Multiple news outlets are reporting that you plan to tie Tylenol to increased risk of autism. Can you confirm that?
We're going to see tomorrow. We're going to do it tomorrow, but I think it's a very big factor. I think you'll see what it is tomorrow. We have various things, but you'll see what it is tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very important news conference, and we want things to take effect immediately. You know, if there's a question, even if there's a question, you just do it, right? But great research has been done. You know, when if you think that, let's say 15 years ago, they had 1 in 10,000 were born with autism, and now it's, think of it, 1 in 12, 1 in 10.
Talking about international affairs as well, I should mention this, that South Korea's leadership is basically saying, look, President Lee and others, we are not writing the United States a blank check for $350 billion, okay? South Korea's economy would fall into a crisis rivaling its 1997 meltdown if the government just writes a $350 billion check to the United States. So South Korea is saying that was never our intention. By the way, it was never the intention of Japan to write a $550 billion check, nor the intention of Europe to write a $750 billion check. Donald Trump right now is trying to bully South Korea into a Great Depression, which would have a trickle effect to the world economy as well. But happy to bail out Javier Milei of Argentina. I want you to know that Donald Trump has no clue what's going on in the world as well. Not exactly a shocker, but he doesn't even know the countries when he comes up with his fake peace deals, where he goes, I did 7 peace deals. He doesn't even know the names of the countries. Can I just show you a brief example? So over the weekend, when Donald Trump was speaking in Mount Vernon, he said that he brought peace between Armenia and Cambodia. He created peace. I think he meant Azerbaijan and Armenia. There's not peace between Azerbaijan and Armenia either. If you actually look at what's happening, it was just codifying Azerbaijan taking over disputed territory, but and there's not even peace in there. But here Donald Trump says Cambodia and Armenia. Play this clip.
Of them, Armenia and Azerbaijan, going on for years. They came to my office, the 2 leaders, 2 great guys. One was there 22 years, one was there 7. And they both said during the entire term of their office, all they did was kill people on the other side. And now they're sitting in my office, and they're at the Oval Office. It's pretty wide. And they had one over here, one over there. And slowly, over the course of about an hour, they came close. And at the end of an hour, we were hugging each other and holding hands. It was an amazing thing. And we settled that war. That was not settlable, as the expression goes. Cambodia and Armenia, it was just starting, and it was a bad one. Think of that. We have, let's see, Cambodia, Armenia. We have Kosovo, Serbia, Israel, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia. That's a beauty. They built a little dam in Ethiopia that's like the largest dam in the world.
And then 2 or 3 days before that, Donald Trump said that he created peace between Azerbaijan and Albania. He doesn't know how to say Azerbaijan, and he called Armenia Albania. Azerbaijan. Here, play this clip.
To think that we settled Azerbaijan and Albania as an example, it was going on for years. It was never going to be settled. If you remember, the prime minister and the presidents, they were there for many years. They said, when they were in my office, we settled. And they started off at both sides of the Oval Office, so far away. I didn't.
Folks, this is the president of the United States who doesn't know what the hell is going on. I should note, someone else who doesn't know what the hell is going on but doesn't care. He's a Trump stooge, a Trump puppet. He's completely capitulated the power of Article 1, the United States Congress. MAGA Mike Johnson. You saw the video I did earlier where MAGA Mike has canceled the 2 critical days of voting on September 29th and September 30th, right before a government shutdown is set to take place. Just canceled work. You know, they canceled work for the Epstein files. Just canceled work. Canceled work those 2 days. Why? Trump wants a government shutdown. Why? He sees where our economy is going. He sees that it's going in the trash, and he wants to blame Democrats. He wants to shut down Congress as well because they're closer to getting the Epstein files. But he also knows that the economy's in a bubble that's putting it generously in the markets because of AI, an AI bubble. But most Americans are suffering right now. Prices are higher. Your gas is not $2 a gallon, okay? Despite Donald Trump saying it over and over again. Inflation hasn't been solved despite Donald Trump saying it over and over again. Prices have never been higher before based on his stupid policies against the world. And then Donald Trump says in regards to Pam Bondi, when he's asked who should be brought to justice by Pam Bondi, Donald Trump says everybody, really. Everybody. Here, play this clip.
That's what's happening here. What they're trying to argue for, not to get too deep in the weeds, is they're trying to insist that the Obamacare premium subsidies be continued. That's a December policy debate and decision, not a September funding matter. So they're trying to insert unrelated matters into the middle of a clean government extension.
What a complete maniac he is. That's what went down today. We'll keep you posted with more here, as always, on the MeidasTouch Network. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.